Hello, welcome back to the Entertainment Vortex. Today we were at Brennan Theaters watching Call of the Wild. Ever since they started advertising this movie, I was kind of excited to see it. I've never read the book. I've never seen any of the other versions of this story. I don't even know how it ended before I watched the movie, and I like going into it that way. I know this is kind of like one of those stories that's been told forever, and the book is really old and it's very popular, so everybody kind of knows the story. But going into this blind and not knowing, I was excited to see what was going on, especially with the trailer being so good. So with that being said, watching this movie was a blast. It's fun, it's lighthearted for the most part. I mean, there are scenes in it that are kind of brutal and hard to watch, but they're few and far between. In my opinion, this movie is all about the journey. We're a spoiler-free review here, so I'm not going to give anything away. I think the weakest part of the movie was the ending, but I don't really have a problem with that. I found myself going, on the ending, like, whatever, but the rest of the movie, the journey, was just so worth it. From the very beginning, you see that there is a lot of personality in the main character, Buck, the dog. They just did a great job, in my opinion, with doing it CG. There's a little bit of uncanny valley at the beginning, and you gotta get used to it, but once you get used to it, the cartoonish facial expressions, the real sense of place, like, it really feels like he's there with the actors. It was well done, and it worked really well for the story. I mean, you're in a situation where you don't want to have the dog talk, but if it was an actual dog, you wouldn't get enough out of the facial expressions so that the other person can understand what they're saying and doing. It's kind of like the live-action Disney movies, and the biggest complaint I have is that there's a lot of storytelling that's done in the animated faces in Disney films, like The Beast and Beauty and the Beast. And when you lose that and you try to make it completely realistic, you lose a lot of the emotional impact. And I feel that Beauty and the Beast really suffered from that. But you know what? This movie did not, because they did it the right way, in my opinion. They met it halfway. They made it look like a realistic dog, but at the same time, they gave him that caricature and cartoonish facial expressions and reactions, which really make it to where it feels like a dog, but yet it doesn't feel like a cartoon character, or doesn't feel like just a lifeless or personality-less animal. It's a good middle ground. With that being said, this movie definitely needs you to understand that this dog has a personality. A personality that's bigger than most animal characters would have in a live-action movie. With that personality, I feel you really get attached to this character. You have an emotional bond with this character as a viewer. I was rooting for him. I wanted to see him succeed. I saw him grow. I wanted to see him grow more. And you kind of just experience his life as it goes on. You're there for a bunch of different adventures. You're there for a bunch of different things that happen to him. And you just kind of, at least I did, I really enjoyed sharing that story with that character. The acting, really good. I didn't have any problem with the acting. The only one person that I think acted kind of poorly is a guy in the second half of the film. I guess you can call him kind of a villain. But honestly, that's what he was given. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's exactly how they told him to play it. Mustache twirling and all that. I didn't really have a problem with it. Harrison Ford did an amazing job. You feel the pain of his character. You feel what he's going through. And the relationship between him and the dog are really good. Everything up to it, the sled team and all that stuff, it just works really well. I also like the fact that in the trailer they mislead you over and over again to give you something to go see the movie, but to not kind of give away what's going to happen. And I really appreciated that. There's all kinds of stuff in the trailer where they're mixing stuff from different parts of the movie, I mean completely different parts of the movie, to make you think one thing is happening when it's really another. And I appreciated that, because I came in really not having any idea what was going to happen. So if you watched the trailer and you thought, this seems interesting, I want to see a movie about a dog and the adventures this dog goes on in the Yukon, then hey, go see this movie. And honestly, even if you've seen the old Charlton Heston version or read the book in school or wherever you might have come across this, I still suggest going to see this. It's by no means written to perfection. You're not coming out of this having philosophical thoughts or anything, but it's fun. It is a good story. I laughed a lot. It seemed like a wacky and fun ride for the most part. And even with the ending being a little weak in my opinion, I mean, I guess it was written that way, but still, I still really enjoyed it. So I'm going to give this movie a 9 out of 10. The reason I give this movie a 9 out of 10 and it loses that 1 point is because I really didn't care for the ending. Once again, I know this is a pre-existing story, but still didn't care for the ending. I thought it was kind of bland. And then also that one villain character being really one-dimensional. From what I understand, he is modified from the book, so I'm not sure exactly how that would work in the book. But still, solid movie. Highly suggest watching it. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We give you multiple videos every single week. And we have t-shirts available if you're interested in those as well. Those are available down in the description below. We hope you'll follow us into the Vortex. We'll see you next time.